Aidan is very tired and sad looking out of his window. He's feeling so bad that he's thinking about giving up on life. But how did things get so bad for him, and how the entire world changed so much in just one day? The story begins 42 days ago. Aidan wakes up, and a woman he met at a club the night before says goodbye and leaves his house. After she leaves, Aidan washes his face, trying to start his day by turning on the television. Unexpectedly, he finds a national emergency alert broadcasting on the TV. At the same time, he hears the loud sound of sirens from outside. This alarms him, and despite his fear, he goes to his balcony to see what's happening. Outside, he witnesses chaos and destruction. People are in panic, running and screaming. Amidst this turmoil, he notices a woman being left behind in the crowd. Shockingly, several individuals attack her aggressively as if they were wild animals. After seeing that, Aidan gets terrified, and then he sees an unfamiliar man rushing into his living room. This man introduces himself as Brandon, claiming to be Aidan's neighbor from the adjacent apartment. Aidan, desperate for answers, asks Brandon about the situation outside. Brandon explains that while he was returning from his morning run, he encountered a mob of people behaving violently and attacking others without any apparent reason. Brandon tells Aidan that he was bitten by one of the attackers, which led him to seek refuge in Aidan's apartment. After checking his wound in the bathroom, Aidan, feeling uneasy, grabs a knife for protection and turns his attention back to the TV to understand the chaos unfolding outside. The news reports reveal a sudden and terrifying change in the world due to a virus outbreak. This virus causes people's eyes to turn red, makes them scream uncontrollably, and eventually they lose control over themselves, attacking and biting others. Those who are bitten become infected and turn into what is described as zombies. Upon learning this, Aidan informs Brandon, who has just returned from the bathroom, about the dangerous nature of the virus and how those bitten turn into zombies. Showing the knife to Brandon, Aidan insists that he leave the apartment. Brandon tries to assure Aidan that he's unharmed, but it's clear the virus is already affecting him. Reluctantly, Brandon leaves the apartment, only to be attacked by more zombies outside, a horrifying scene Aidan witnesses through the keyhole. Now Aidan decides to lock himself in, listening to the only advice given on TV: stay indoors and isolate oneself to avoid the virus. Feeling scared and alone, Aidan starts drinking alcohol to cope with the fear. He notices that his phone has no signal, cutting him off from the outside world even further. During this time, he also discovers messages from his father that were sent that morning. Aidan couldn't read the messages from his father earlier, and when he finally does, he discovers a heartbreaking reality. His father's messages initially mentioned plans to meet that morning, but the tone quickly changes. The subsequent message reveals that his parents are no longer safe and urges Aidan to look after his sister and protect himself. Desperately trying to contact them without any response, Aidan realizes his parents might have fallen victim to the zombie virus. Stricken with grief, but determined to heed his parents' advice to survive, Aidan marks the first day of his ordeal on the wall with a marker. 6 days of isolation pass, with Aidan trying to stave off boredom and ensure his safety by freezing his door shut to prevent anyone or anything from entering. He learns from a TV broadcast that due to the widespread infection, water supply might soon be halted and that everyone should conserve water. To combat loneliness and anxiety, Aidan begins recording a video journal at night, sharing his feelings of isolation and fear. 2 weeks into the crisis, things have deteriorated further rather than improving. Aidan realizes his supplies are running low and that he'll need to venture outside soon, a thought that triggers anxiety attacks. His situation escalates when a zombie breaks into his apartment through the bathroom ventilation, but Aidan manages to defend himself with a baseball bat, ejecting the intruder and securing the ventilation. After spending a month inside, Aidan decides it's time to venture out, but he's quickly overwhelmed by zombies. Narrowly escaping, he returns to his apartment and once again barricades the door with his refrigerator. Days pass and the city's electricity fails, leaving everyone in darkness due to the lack of maintenance. Feeling utterly hopeless and alone, Aidan thinks about ending his life. The scene from the story's start, just as he's about to give up, he notices a girl on a balcony across from his. This sight reignites his will to live, and he decides to find a way to communicate with her. With his laptop battery dead and no way to recharge it, Aidan resorts to exchanging messages with the girl using pieces of paper. He learns her name is Eva, and like him, she's been trapped in her apartment alone. For the first time in months, they both find solace in talking to someone else. Eva reveals she's run out of water, prompting Aidan to offer his help, promising to find a way to get water to her. Aidan now tries to improve his lifestyle after many days, and when it rained, Aidan takes advantage of it to collect rainwater for both drinking and bathing, as he hadn't bathed in a month. As their communication grows, Aidan devises a plan to deliver water to Eva using a rope. Unfortunately, this act of kindness does not go unnoticed by the zombies, drawing their attention towards him. As Aidan attempts to assist Eva, the situation escalates, with zombies quickly making their way towards him. Discovering that zombies are also trying to breach his apartment, Aidan acts swiftly to reinforce the door. He then defends himself with a baseball bat, eliminating one of the zombies by knocking it down from his balcony. With his food supplies depleted, Aidan remembers he has a key to Brandon's apartment. Since Brandon was killed on the first day of the outbreak, Aidan hopes to find food there. Aidan makes his way to Brandon's apartment only to encounter zombies along the way. Despite the risks, he manages to evade them and enters Brandon's place, finding it in disarray and a woman's body in the bedroom. In the kitchen, Aidan finds only a small amount of food, but discovers Brandon's mountain climbing gear, realizing it could be crucial for his survival. While gathering supplies, Aidan is attacked by a zombie that has managed to get inside the apartment. He manages to escape the encounter and returns to his own apartment, where he discovers 2 walkie-talkies among Brandon's belongings. Thrilled by this find, Aidan sees an opportunity to communicate directly with Eva. Taking a risk, he heads downstairs and, dodging zombies, manages to throw one of the walkie-talkies onto Eva's balcony. The next morning, Aidan and Eva use the walkie-talkies to talk for the first time. This new way of communicating brings them immense joy, as they've both been isolated and without direct contact with another person for months. In his quest for more supplies, Aidan ventures through the bathroom ventilation duct into another apartment, only to find it empty at first glance. He begins collecting food, but soon realizes the apartment door is barricaded from the inside, suggesting someone else's presence. He discovers an old man named Edward hiding there. Before anything else, they both confirm they aren't infected with the zombie virus, after which Edward agrees to share some of his food and alcohol, citing his old age as the reason he doesn't need much. Aidan is relieved and grateful for the assistance. Unaware of the danger lurking ahead, in an unexpected turn, Edward attacks Aidan, knocking him unconscious. When Aidan comes to, he finds himself tied up facing an old woman turned zombie, identified as Edward's wife. Edward confesses to Aidan that his wife was infected early on, and out of love, he has been feeding her to keep her alive, starting with their pet dog and then moving on to other people in the building. As Edward prepares to offer Aidan as the next meal to his wife, Aidan pleads for mercy, but to no avail. However, a noise distracts Edward, providing Aidan with a chance to free himself. Utilizing the moment, Aidan manages to escape his bonds and, in a desperate move, pushes Edward towards the zombified wife, turning the tables on the man who intended to sacrifice him. Amidst this chaos, he receives a distress message from Eva, prompting him to hurry back to his own apartment. There, he discovers that zombies have breached Eva's apartment, and she is now trapped on her balcony, with the zombies close to reaching her. Determined to save Eva, Aidan makes his way down from his building, and by chance, he comes across a security guard's firearm. Using the gun, he starts to fend off the zombies around him. The sound of gunfire attracts even more zombies towards him, creating a dangerous situation. Aidan fights his way through and manages to climb onto her balcony. With zombies in hot pursuit, he quickly jumps to a lower balcony, cuts the rope he used to climb up, and urges Eva to follow him down. This apartment hasn't been compromised by zombies yet, providing a brief moment of safety. For the first time, Aidan and Eva meet face to face. However, their situation is far from safe. They need to leave the building and make it back to Aidan's apartment. As they run, zombies are everywhere, attacking from all sides. In a critical moment, Eva saves Aidan. Together, they manage to evade the zombies and return to the relative safety of Aidan's building. After a risky escape, Aidan and Eva finally make it back to his apartment, only for Aidan to discover his body covered in blood. Fearing the worst, that he's been bitten by a zombie during their escape, he's overwhelmed with sadness. In a heartbreaking decision, he considers sacrificing himself by jumping from his balcony to protect Eva, rather than risk turning into a zombie and endangering her. Eva, distraught, pleads with Aidan not to take such a drastic step. She argues that Aidan risking his life for her shouldn't end in such a tragic way, especially since it would leave her alone once more. Aidan removes his clothes before jumping from the balcony, but surprisingly, he finds no signs of any bite marks on his body. The blood covering him was not his own, but belonged to the zombies he fought off to protect Eva. This realization brings them both immense relief. They are safe for now. They quickly secure the door to Aidan's apartment, grateful for each other's presence. With this tiny glimmer of hope of their survival, the story ends. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to subscribe the channel and like the video. It surely helps a lot for small channels like us.